let's study further about the application of the to-infinitive in a clause where the subject of the preposition and the descriptive word to include a verb is the same. The subject of the transitive verb it is the same as the subject of the preposition to as the speaker. The to-infinitive signifies the purpose to actualize the definition of the descriptive word to include the verb. This can be helpful to set the order of interpretation of the to-infinitive. The subject of the transitive verb it is the speaker, and the definition of the transitive verb it is described by the phrase of the to-infinitive. So the speaker who actualizes the speaker who exists at first, because the speaker is indicated by the personal pronoun I. The speaker as the subject is described by the definition of the transitive verb it. As a subject who actualizes an action described by the transitive verb it. The speaker who actualizes the action indicated by the transitive verb it has a purpose to reach to the condition described by the root infinitive state later than the point in time when the definition of the transitive verb it is actualized. So we can understand that the order of interpretation is according to the order of the statement. In this way, the second clause is this: I'm going to drink a beverage. The speaker who exists at first, from the fact that the speaker is indicated by the personal pronoun I, is described by the intransitive verb am, that is a form of a be verb. The definition of the be verb is deepened with the application of the present participle going to specify the definition of the be verb. And the subject who is described to be in a condition, in an ongoing condition, is described to have a purpose to actualize an action described by the root infinitive drink. So we can understand the order of interpretation is according to the order of the arrangement from left to the right. The subject of the phrase of the to-infinitive to stay healthy is the same as the subject of the transitive verb eat, who is the speaker. So the phrase of the to-infinitive to stay healthy to indicate the condition as the internal motivation of the subject signifies the purpose that makes the subject to cause an action, and the subject intends to achieve with the action indicated by the transitive verb eat. The speaker who is the subject of the preposition to reveals the present when the be verb am describes the existence of the subject as the point in time that is able to be specified as a period, when the action indicated by the intransitive verb go, that the present participle going as the adverb originates from continuous to actualize. The description by the present participle going is to specify the present when the speaker exists from the description by the be verb into a period when the speaker continues the condition described by the definition of the intransitive verb go, that is the body of the present participle going. From the perspective of each speaker, the present can be defined into a short period like a second, or a long period like a year. So we can understand that the speaker can specify a point in time into a period. For the actualization described by the present participle going, the speaker who is the subject of the be verb am is the action indicated by the present participle going, and the preposition to reveals that the purpose of the action indicated by the present participle going is the action indicated by the root infinitive during, which is the object of the preposition to. So the to-infinitive to drink has the trait of the adverb. The preposition to focuses on mediating the present relationship between the subject and the object, because the subject and the object indicated by the root infinitive drink, because the preposition mediates the subject-object relationship at the same time when the definition of the verb actualizes. When the speaker as the subject exists, the speaker has a purpose to orient. So the actualization of the action described by the root infinitive drink is later than the present when the subject exists, but the definition of the preposition to actualizes when the speaker as the subject exists at the present. However, the definition of the preposition to orient to the future, so the point in time when the definition of the root infinitive drink actualizes is later than the present. The clause conveys the intention of the speaker that the speaker exists at the present in time and a place and moves forward to the future, put in time, and another place that the action indicated by the root infinitive drink will actualize it. The second role is about the description of the definition of the preposition to. This can be understood from the fact that the preposition to is included as one of the adverbs. The adverb can describe the other description. The adverb, the definition of the adverb is also a description, and this description can describe the other descriptive word, like a verb, a determiner, an adjective, or the other adverb. So we can understand that the phenomenon that the phrase of the to-infinitive can specify the definition of the adjective. The to-infinitive signifies the reason why the subject of the descriptive word to include an adjective actualizes the experience, condition, or action indicated by the descriptive word to include the adjective. Before we interpret the phrase of the to-infinitive to see you, we can understand the subject exists at first as a subject, and the speaker as a subject is described by the be verb, and the definition of the be verb is deepened with the application of the adjective happy. So we can understand that the speaker is in a condition described by the adjective happy. And we can understand that the condition of the subject is about the orientation. After the subject is in the condition, the speaker, the condition described by the root infinitive C can be a reason for the condition to be after. And the speaker just knew it when the speaker can be happy because the speaker see the listeners. We can understand that there can be a prior context that the speaker can feel happiness by seeing the listeners. That can be the prior context, and the speaker sets the condition of the present while the speaker is heading to a condition described by the root infinitive C. We can understand that the speaker intends to deliver the context that after the speaker and the listeners meet so that they can see each other. Before they meet each other, the speaker may become in the condition described by the adjective happy. Because Jesus Christ may tell us how the event to see the listeners from the perspective of the speaker at the moment when the speaker states this clause. It will be happy. The meeting will be happy with the listeners. So at the start of the event, the speaker can state this clause in the will of the one. Like a draft. With the love of Jesus Christ, the draft can be corrected into the improvement, and the fact that the speaker can state the future condition after actualizing the condition described by the root infinitive can be understood with the fact that the meeting is arranged by the will of the one at the first place. we can consider the other clause that conveys the similar intent of the speaker in this way. I'm happy for seeing you. The speaker set the condition to actualize the definition of the root infinitive C as a proposed condition. The speaker has the purpose at the present when the speaker is in the condition described by the adjective happy. So we can understand that the condition described by the root infinitive C is expected by the speaker later than the present. Let's think of the clause, I am happy for seeing you. The preposition for describes the purpose of the subject of the preposition for, and the speaker, who is the subject of the preposition for, sets the condition indicated by the gerund seeing as a part of the present. The point at the present is specified into a period that the speaker proposes. The speaker proposes to actualize the condition indicated by the gerund seeing during a period so we can understand that there is the concurrency when the speaker applies the preposition for. The two prepositions to and for describe the purpose of the subject and the speaker sets the purpose as a point in the future later than the present and a place for the actualization of the condition, which is the object of the preposition to. The speaker sets the condition indicated by the gerund seeing as the object of the preposition for, set that the purpose is included in the present. The present can be specified into a period. So we can understand that the purpose included in the present when the speaker exists can be stated with the application of the preposition for. There is a second clause, I'm happy for you to stay healthy. The preposition for sets the subject as the speaker. The object of the preposition for are the listeners. The subject of the preposition to are the listeners. And the object of the preposition to is indicated by the root infinitive stay. So we can understand that the subject of the preposition to are the listeners who receive the definition of the preposition for from the speaker. So we can understand that the speaker who exists with a purpose of the other existences who are the listeners. And the listeners have a purpose to actualize in the time later than the present when the listeners as the subject of the preposition to exist, and a place for the actualization of the condition described by the root infinitive state. So we can understand that the preposition to sets the subject, the direct subject, as the listeners at first, and the speaker is the indirect subject of the preposition to via the mediation by the preposition for. The speaker exists for the listeners at the present from the definition of the preposition for, and the listeners have the purpose to actualize in the near future because the clause is stated in the present tense, and a place about the condition described by the root infinitive state. So we can understand that the speaker intends to exist for the other existences who are the listeners, and the condition of the speaker is described by the adjective happy, with the purpose that the listeners actualize the condition described by the root infinitive state in the near future, in the point in time later than the present, and a place with the application of the preposition to. The subject of the phrase of the to-infinitive to see you is the same as the subject described by the be verb am, who is the speaker. The adjective happy describes the condition that the subject exists in. The phrase of the to-infinitive to see you signifies the action that makes the subject confront the condition described by the adjective happy. The subject of the phrase of the to-infinitive to stay healthy are the listeners, who are the object of the preposition for. So the subject of the phrase of the to-infinitive to stay healthy are different from the subject of the be verb, who is the speaker. The two prepositions for and to mediate each subject-object relationship in the clause. The preposition for mediate the subject, who is the speaker, and the object, who are the listeners, as a purpose that the subject exists. The preposition to mediate the subject, who are the listeners, and the object, indicated by the phrase of the root infinitive stay healthy, as the condition that the subject purposes to be, because the clause consists of the only subject and the only verb, we can understand that the intent of the speaker as the subject is extended to the second subject-object relationship between the listeners and the root infinitive stay. The root infinitive stay as the object of the preposition can describe the condition of the subject who are the listeners with the trait of the verb in this way. I'm happy because you stay healthy. With the change of the role that the root infinitive stay has from indicating the condition of the subject to describing the condition of the subject with the trait of the verb. The root infinitive stay becomes the intransitive verb stay in the sentence that the subordinate clause is linked to the main clause with the conjunctive adverb because. The subject-object relationship mediated by the preposition to can be described in a clause that the intransitive verb stay describes the condition of the subject who are the listeners. The preposition for mediates the subject-object relationship between the subject and the object considered as the cause of the subject. This page is about the description for the definition for the brief introduction for the preposition for. So the conjunctive adverb because that links two clauses in the logical relationship of the effect and its cause links the cause about the condition of the speaker, the effect, and the cause, who is the subject of the preposition for, and the clause about the listeners, who are the object of the preposition for. We can understand the transition of a clause into the two clauses. The subordinate clause, in the subordinate clause, the subject, the listeners, originate from the subject of the preposition to. The fact that the preposition to has the trait of the adverb is assured by a clause with the preposition to able to be divided into the two clauses to describe the speaker, who is the original subject of the clause, and the listeners, who are the subjects of the preposition to. The clause with the two prepositions for and to, and a sentence that the conjunctive adverb because is applied can deliver the same intent of the speaker, but the speaker can emphasize the fact that the only subject of the clause is the speaker, and the speaker can reveal that the subject, who is the speaker, is the subject of the main clause, and the subject of the main subordinate clause are the listeners. This transition of the emphasis by the speaker can be the reason why there are two ways of describing the intent of the speaker in a clause and in the two clauses linked by the conjunctive adverb because.